8 riders in the lineup out here tonight. The way it's going to work out here at the BMX Dirt Final, they're going to get 4 runs apiece, and it's the best run that counts. We've got Mike Clark, Chris Doyle, Brandon Dosch, TJ Ellis, Luke Parslow, Ben Wallace, Kyle Baldock, who's got a gold medal from earlier today in BMX Park, and of course, Ryan Nyquist. And there is a shot of our first competitor. That is Mike Clark, who's going to start us off. This is his first ever X Games appearance, Dennis.
Yes, it is. And look, Mike has got a smile on his face.
Well, you should. This should be fun.
No, he smiles all the time. You're talking about a dirt rider that could probably land on one of those sets and jump right into a high-speed bar ride. Well, this guy's got skills. We got a course preview from some of the riders. Jordan talked about that blindside landing. What are the things that the judges are looking for out here tonight? They're looking for everything from that's blind, a big flip into it. You want to go high, you want to do difficult tricks, but you want flow and you want style. You put all that together and you might be taking home a gold.
Big backflip tailwhip to cap off that run there. You talked about style and flow. It's a different kind of flow from what we talked about earlier today in the park contest. You want to have the big tricks, but it's about smooth landings and keeping the speed and the flow going through the run.
And everybody's hitting the same lines for the most part. You can hit one way or the other way, but it is a straight shot for the most part. Flipping in, that's big. And then going with a cliffhanger, and he's smiling on his face the whole time. Truck driver to X up. And a nice flip whip. That's a good size. That's a solid run. What a way to get this thing started.
That's not a bad way to start off your first ever X Games appearance. And Mike Clark sitting on top of things right. That's a respectable score to start it off with an 89.33. There is Chris Doyle due up next. Now, Chris got in here as an alternate replacing Dennis Anderson, who was injured earlier today in the park competition.
Now, Chris didn't trick down that big 3 invert. He's known for his big 3 inverts. Single whip, turn down.
And a big 3-whip, 360 tailwhip there over that last set. Now, Chris is no stranger to dirt competitions at the X Games. He's got 4 X Games BMX Dirt medals. He's got 2 bronze and 2 silver medals in years past.
Him getting as an alternate, it brings some other medalists in here. Prior to that, we were looking at Ryan Nyquist as the lone medalist of the field. But you'll see, Doyle just went down normal, which is, you know, nothing to be ashamed of, but if other guys are throwing a trick down there and you add that into the mix, you're right up the bat, you're behind. Ending it with a 3-whip, getting a little over-rotated there, but pulling it.
But again, you know, it's the best run that counts out here, so you're going to get 4 shots at it out here this evening. 86.33 for Doyle. That's going to leave him in 2nd place. Coming up next, though, Brandon Dosch. This is the first time we've ever seen. He's been in the X Games before. This is the first time he's ever appeared in dirt, and he's on course.
I believe it was 3.
That was 3 times around.
But a triple whip, and you know what? That's a bummer because he lost his line, and now he's left to do a couple of dead sailors, dart jumps, call them what you want to call them.
Long darts, as I like to call them.
Yeah, that was more of a long dart.
Well, you know, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's all about the landings, and you know, starts it off with the big triple whip, but then it just threw off the rest of the run.
And this is one of those riders where it's really hard to call what's opposite and what's not because he chooses to rotate his 720s one way.
Looked like the frame just over-rotated on the landing as we lost him from our vantage
Here
point there.
we see it in slow-mo and miss it, and ending with a 3-whip. But the 2 blank jumps in between are going to destroy this score.
Yeah, so he'll throw this one out. But again, 4 runs out here tonight. It's your best of the 4 that will count. Another X Games rookie making his debut appearance out here tonight. This is TJ Ellis.
Nice. Starting out with a turn down. Big double tailwhip 3. Wow. Giant front flip.
Did that last set with a big backflip tailwhip.
And big was the key word there. I mean, when riders are doing similar tricks, a lot of times it's foot or 2 in height difference that really sets one guy apart from the other.
And that was a nice combo there with the 360 double tailwhip and then followed it up with the front flip.
Starting out with the turn down. Double tailwhip 360, that was once just a video game trick.
And look how clean he puts down the front flip.
And a nice backflip tailwhip. That, you know, the one dead jump, I call it dead. You know, you got to sometimes get through it to get the speed you need for the other one. He's still the leader, but as the field goes on, you're going to see people probably make something happen on every single set.
It worked out for him. We're into the 90s. TJ Ellis takes the lead, and that brings up Luke Parslow.
Back flipping in, front flip. You can tell he landed a little low. If we see a replay of that, he lands low enough on the front flip to lose his speed.
Well, he overshot most of the landing on that. It looked like at real-time speed. We'll see if we get a replay of that. But
it's hard to have too much speed through this, because if you have too much speed, as you would say, you just pop higher. You just go that much higher. If you don't have enough speed to get over it, that's going to end your run real quick. And on the front flip, that's exactly what happened. He overshot. You want to land at the top of the jump. Well, that was after the front flip. After the front flip, where he didn't get enough speed.
So, I mean, throw this one out. You've got 4 chances at it out here tonight. It is the best run that counts, so that'll leave him in 5th for right now. TJ Ellis, the high mark to beat right now with a 90.33. We still have 3 riders left to go here in the rotation for round 1 of 4. And you're looking at a shot of Ben Wallace.
And when I said go high, watch Ben. This is one of his specialties. You don't just do a trick, you boost it with authority. Now, a lot of people have made Oppo look back 3, but he rides goofy-footed, as we call it. And look at, double downside whip 3, and call it Oppo if you want, or call it regular from a goofy-footed rider. It's getting to that point where so many guys can ride so good both directions that
was 3 times around there right out of the gate with the triple whip.
That was rad.
Slip that.
Be interesting to see where it's
foot
going. Yeah, and sometimes that's not real obvious from the vantage point of the judges.
And it didn't affect the score. 90.66. So he overtakes the lead there from TJ Ellis. So with 2 riders left to go here in round 1, it's Wallace, Ellis, and Clark, your top 3 right now. And this gentleman right here, he's already got a gold medal from earlier today in BMX Park. This is Kyle Baldock.
And what I said about Ben Wallace, really, here, this guy goes big. Bar spin to tuck, no-handed flip. And just a massive no-handed 360 flip. That was huge. And you'll see he threw an X-up in on the set in between. To most riders, an X-up is considered a basic trick, but it's stylish.
Or a setup trick at this point.
It's stylish and it's a trick. It's better than just going over it. It's equivalent of a blank wall invert when you do absolutely nothing, but throwing an X-up in helps. Bar spin to no-handed, tuck no-hander, it's called backflip. And look at that. Full extension on a no-handed 360 flip. And hey, it's best run counts. That's it's gonna be huge.
So an 88.33 for Kyle Baldock. So obviously that XF hurt the score, so that's gonna leave him down there in 4th. Log on to XGames.com and get to know one of tonight's featured athletes, Ryan Nyquist. Get to know the dirt legend and his approach for Foz de Iguaçu. And again, that's all over there at XGames.com. So, speak of the devil, Ryan runs last in the run order here. Just awaiting his first of 4 runs. So again, your top 3 right now, Ben Wallace, TJ Ellis, and Mike Clark. Jimmy Coleman here in the booth sitting alongside Dennis McCoy. We've got Jordan Whitley as our sideline reporter here. It is the return of BMX Dirt here to the X Games after a 7-year hiatus. And this gentleman right here, no stranger to BMX Dirt competitions when it comes to the X Games. Ryan Nyquist.
No, this guy, he would be the favorite based on just his experience and Ryan knowing how to come through when it matters. Just a double truck driver like it's absolutely nothing.
And there you go. The bars in the 720.
The bar spin. That's a big trick. Well, he has to feel very good about himself right now to pull that run right off the bat, because it takes a lot of pressure off. He's certainly the type of rider that wants to go for the win, but that's going to hold up into a top placing. Almost certainly.
Bar spins down the step down.
Bar spin backflip. Has this more dialed than anybody. He'll throw 2 sometimes. And that's just beautiful.
It doesn't get any cleaner than that on the bar spin 720. Taking another look at it here. Throws it around in the middle. Rotation.
Now, it really still has 3 runs left, but I'll go out on a limb and say that's going to end up sticking to be one of the better 4 or 5 runs of the night.
Well, it's
popped up. It's tied for first, but I guess the tiebreaker's probably going to apply.
Puts him to the top of things right now with a 90.66. So keep in mind, that's the end of round 1. We still have 3 rounds still to go here, so we're just getting underway. But at the end of round number 1, your top 3 here, Ryan Nyquist, Ben Wallace, and TJ Ellis. We've got more BMX Dirt when we come back.
Clark, and I'll be participating in BMX Dirt at the X Games.
Ever every contest I feel like I did the worst at, I did the best at. I don't know how that works.
My #1 goal for this year is to be the best I could be on my bike and to stay uninjured. They took BMX Dirt out of the X Games about 6 years ago. It's just so awesome to have it back, and it's just a dream come true and an honor to be in such an awesome event. I mean, X Games has been around for so long. It's one of those things you just watch as a little kid and never in a million years would ever think or expect you'd be in it. To be invited, it's just a dream come true. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it.
Well, you heard him say it right there. It's like a dream come true, not just for Mike Clark, but for a lot of other guys in the sport. They've been waiting for this to come back. Like we said, it's been a 7-year hiatus since we've had BMX Dirt here in the X Games, all the way back to 2006. We're starting the top of round number 2 of 4. Mike Clark currently sitting 1 spot out of a podium position right now. This is his first ever X Games appearance, and he's obviously having a good time.
Yeah, that was a cool piece. Hunker's a really cool guy. And yeah, he's gonna have fun with it. He does that everywhere he is, regardless of the circumstances.
I've never seen this guy not have a good time at a contest or whether he's just riding for fun. He just loves to be on his bike. But here we go, round number 2 underway.
Another guy doing it. Unfortunately for him, that run ended quick, but he 3'd down. He flipped down the first run. So Hunker's taking full advantage of the fact that there is a feature there going into the first set.
Well, we talked about that at the top of the show. I mean, it is available. I mean, it'll help. It'll definitely rack up points with the judges if you use that element.
Yeah, in this case, it did cost him. The fact that he landed a little bit low on the 360, I think, was enough to throw him off his line on this. But, you know, it's worth taking that gamble, if you ask me, when you've got 4 runs, best run counts.
Why not? It's your first ever X Games. You're 1 spot out of a podium at this point with your first run. So why not? I mean, that's the way the format works. Take a few chances. It's the best run that counts. He's still got 2 more shots at it. Coming up next, though, we've got Chris Doyle. He's currently sitting down in 6th pre-run.
Doyle, truck driver of the first set. Whip in. Turn down. No foot can 3. I couldn't tell which direction his tailwhip was.
And remember, Chris Doyle, he's in as an alternate here. He took Dennis Anderson's spot. Anderson was injured earlier today in the BMX Park final. So by virtue of that, Doyle gets the call. And he gets in here tonight for the return of BMX Dirt. Score here for Mr.
I think
Doyle.
Doyle's going to stay in 6th place. He did increase his score, but
by
the gap.
Full point.
Well, there was 4 1/3 points between 7th and 5th, so it's going to be hard to jump up to that unless you really put something down.
All right, next rider in, this is Brandon Dosch. Brandon Dosch with a 720 right out of the gate.
And you'll notice it looked goofy-footed.
He was opposite, wasn't it?
Well, he does his 7s and his 1080s different directions, so you pick which one's opposite for him. He doesn't know.
Well, he's pumped about that one right there. The first run was a throwaway with an 83.
That's a solid run. That's going to be a big increase over the 83 for certain. Be interesting to see where this lands in.
So this is where the 720 goes down.
And see, what you would call goofy-footed there, or switch for a rider that rides normal-footed. Now, when he does his turn-downs and his 3-whips, he rides like a regular-footed rider. And a lot of riders just new school guys ride either way. Got a little crooked at the end, but landed it. And, you know, honestly, sometimes that's not even the easiest thing to see when you're out there viewing it from, like, the judging platform, how clean that last landing is or isn't.
So it's definitely going to best that 83 that's got him down in 7th that we saw from the opening round here. So the question is, what does this run do here? Like you said, got a little squirrely at the end there on the corked out 7, but rides away from it.
And right now he's a full 4 and something points behind Doyle in 6th, but this is going to be better than the 83.
Well, you need a 90.33 or better if you're going to crack into that top 3. You need a 90.66 or better if you're going to take the lead away from Ryan Nyquist.
What about that?
And a 91 flat, so Brandon Dosch has jumped to the top of the leaderboard here in the early part of round number 2. So nicely done there by Brandon. TJ Ellis, he's now been bumped out of the top 3 by virtue of that. He's sitting in 4th place as he gets set for run number 2. Superman backflip.
A big Superman backflip. Kind of threw a little turn down there on the front flip.
What's he going to finish it up with here in the last set? Backflip, double tailwhip.
That was very, very clean. Wow. This is going to score great. And in TJ Ellis fashion, jump off at the top of the berm and get the crowd excited even more.
Hey, we've got 2 X Games rookies here tonight, and he is holding his own. No pressure whatsoever for that guy.
He's not the type that feels pressure. You say holding his own. He's a pretty intense rider, but he doesn't strike me as a type that goes out there and probably gets real nervous.
Watch how stretched out he gets on that.
Yeah, this is going to score big. Throws in a little turn down on the front flip. Didn't trick the shark fin, but finishes it off so strong that it's going to be a big score.
Look at this, backflip. Well, 2 revolutions of the frame of the bike, the body and the handlebar stay stationary, and that is a very excited TJ Ellis at the end of that run.
So like the way I call it without actually going out on a limb, that's going to be a big score.
Yeah, you dabble with that plank, but you don't quite commit there. So the first run score is a 90.33. It had him in 4th until we saw Brandon Dosch jump to the top of the leaderboard, but that's going to be the exact same score that he got the first time around. So he's consistent, 2 scores in the 90s. However, that's not going to put him back in the top 3, and the fans do not like that here in Foz do Iguaçu. We've got more from round number 2 when we come back. But back here at BMX Dirt Final, we are in the middle of round number 2 of 4. This is Luke Parslow on course.
And he just flipped down in as well, and then front flipped, and it looked like he lost a little bit of speed there, but he's making up for it here at the end. Parslow turn down by backflip, yeah, big.
That combo move there. Remember, he had that first run score was a throwaway, that 74. But again, if you're just joining us, there are 4 runs, but it's your best run that counts out here tonight. So he's down, but he's not out.
And that creates a dynamic where any of these guys could win it. Back flip down, front flip in. Again, he landed low, though. And
yeah,
that
he overshot that
set.
one. And remember, he tried to tail whip over that in that first run.
It was a one-handed X-up back flip to turn down. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between that and the bar spin.
You know, in the lights and our vantage point, real-time speed. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but combo move there for Parslow, so this will bump up the score at 83.66. It's not going to bump up the placing at all. So your top 3 as of right now, Brandon Dosch, Ryan Nyquist, and this gentleman right here, Ben Wallace, who's set to take his 2nd run. He had a first run score of a 90.66. See what he can get done here in round 2.
Turn down. Trip. Got to say it, but he didn't pull it.
Slips the pedal. Maybe he got hung up a little bit on the landing right there, but trying to go for the triple tail whip.
When you have a run that doesn't go the way you hope like this, that's when you're glad the format allows for 4 runs and his best run counts.
Once, twice, 3 times around. Oh yeah, the back tire just clipped the landing.
Now in park, it's an average of those 2 runs, and some of these guys would like to see maybe an average so the consistency gets rewarded, but if you do mess up, you're probably glad it's just best run counts.
Well, yeah, he's still sitting in podium contention as of right now. Remember, that first run score was a 90.66, so that's got him in a bronze position as of right now with 2 riders left to go in the run order and then 2 more rounds to go for all 8 riders overall. And up next, Kyle Baldock. He's already got a gold medal in BMX Park earlier today.
Massive 3 flip. He just does things huge.
Tailwhip to bar spin.
Still got an X-up in. Didn't look like he was going to have the speed. He did. Call it what you want. Windshield wiper 360, whip to whip back.
Yeah.
It's but hopefully we'll see this on replay. And you're doing a tailwhip 360 and you kick it back the other direction. Opts to not trick into that, but he probably wanted maximum speed for what's probably the highest trick of the day so far.
And this was the last one here. Frame whips around one way, then kick it back the other way.
In many ways, that defeats the purpose of tail whipping it if you kick it back. I'm being sarcastic. That trick is insane.
Well, he was in 6th pre-run. That first run score was an 88.33. The top mark to beat right now is Brandon Dosch, who has a 91 flat. And check it out, a 92 flat. So we have a lead change once again.
That is that's very cool to see. I did feel that Kyle's first run maybe could have scored a little higher. I wasn't viewing it from a judge's perspective, so there might have been something there I didn't quite grasp, but see him come through with a 92. I mean, he's looking at potential for double gold.
Well, let's send it down one more time to Jordan Whitley.
Well, the pressure is back on Ryan Nyquist, but he's a man with a plan. He said he came in and did exactly what he wanted to his first run. And the biggest challenge for him is the pause between runs, because he has to work himself back into that do what it takes mentality.
Well, Ryan's been in these pressure cooker situations many, many times in the past, and more often than not, he has delivered. And I don't think he's very fazed by this. So here we go, 2nd of 4 for Ryan Nyquist, sitting in 3rd place as of right now.
Car spun into a regular 720. Had to throw in a little pedal there, but recovers with a double truck. And he threes the shark fin. Oh, that, you know, the ending wasn't exactly what he wanted, and you can tell by his reaction. He did get the late bar spin, and I think he was going to go for a nothing to a late bar spin. Everything else about that run, though, had it going on. 720. He had to do a little half crank, but then casually throws the double truck driver.
And then the no footer there, and then this was an afterthought for him at this point.
He's so proficient in bar spins. It's like, oops, that didn't work. I'll just throw the bars. But hey, every little bit counts. You know, you might come down to a tiebreaker with somebody else to where your other run score is going to determine where you place.
So that is the end of round 2 of 4. And Kyle Baldock, your Park gold medalist from earlier today, sitting in the top position. We've got 2 more rounds still to come when we come back. Welcome back to Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil. We are in the middle of the BMX Dirt Final. 2 runs down, 2 runs to go here. And there are your current standings. Kyle Baldock sitting on top of things at the end of round number 2. And this is the run that got him there.
You know what? Kyle stands out because of how high he goes. 360 flip, just so high. Whip to late bar, and then casually, during a 360, whip it one way, kick it back the other. First place, and after a gold medal today in Park. That's pretty insane.
A great outing in BMX Park Final earlier today, and now he's sitting in the top position here in the Dirt Final with 2 runs left to go. We're going back up to the top of the order here, round 3, and again, the story here tonight is the best run that counts. Your top 3 right now, Kyle Baldock, Brandon Dosch, and Ryan Nyquist. But now we're set to bring in one more time. This is Mike Clark in his first ever X Games appearance.
And Hunker exhaled there. Makes you think he's got something up his sleeve. Big 360 in. Well, going for a decade. Decade jump, it's kind of named after the flatland trick. Don't know why we would call it a decade. Actually, I think Fred Blood claimed it took 10 years to learn or something, which that makes no sense because...
Take another look at it here and see where it all goes wrong. Looked like he had it for the most part. Just coming around, feet looked like it was about to go to the pedals, but then just over-rotated it, so he'll throw that one out. First run score will be his best once again, so 89.33, it's going to leave him down at 6, but he's got 1 more run still to go. So bring up Chris Doyle, who's currently sitting in 7th place right now. His best run was his 2nd attempt.
Big 3 invert. No foot can. Downside whip in it, and then a 3 whip. Well, 3 whip, but down the landing there. Doyle looks maybe a little bit off. He's known for being dialed and consistent. He was the alternate, so I don't know if he rode.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how much practice he actually rode. He wasn't in the lineup until earlier this afternoon.
He gets those 3 inverts very inverted. And a tailwhip 360. But here's where he got decided that. I think he was going to case really bad, so he took the foot off. Doesn't look too pleased with it, but still another run.
The long and low is hard to tell.
Yeah, so down there with an 83.66 for that one, so he'll stick with that 2nd run score. Well, we want to see your photos from the X Games experience at home and here in Brazil. We got it, so here are some of the best photos of the day, and you can hashtag those photos XGFan, and there's one from Gary Young. The BMX Dirt dudes are killing it at X Games Brazil. We saw Gary out there earlier today in the BMX Park event, so now he's out here
and he's
putting
quite
photos
a dirt
up on
rider
Twitter
as well. So to have Gary Young say you're killing it, that's a pretty big compliment.
And don't forget, you can post your photos up there. Make sure you hashtag them XGFan. I threw a couple up there the other night from my first visit to the Iguaçu Falls.
Because you, too, are a fan of the X Games.
And that's actually the only time I go on my Twitter account. Here we go, coming up next, Brandon Dosch.
Missed the set there. It looked like a triple whip right off the bat. And one of those dipped threes, as we like to call them.
Well, he was in second place pre-run, 91 flat. He was in the lead, but then Kyle Baldock at the end of round 2, or towards the end of round 2, I should say, bumped him down into second place. Take another look at the run here.
Toboggan down into that. You know, it's so weird that a trick like a triple whip is becoming very commonplace. But this trick, this run as a whole won't outscore his other one, in my opinion, just because of a little bit of sloppiness after he landed this. You do a trick that big, and it's not easy to land perfect and keep your flow going.
So again, his best run score was round 2 for him with a 91 flat. You're absolutely right. So that one's not going to best 84.33. So again, sitting in a medal position as of right now. TJ Ellis was in a medal position, but he's been bumped all the way down to 5th. As we get
Satterfield's watching him there. Colton's a really good dirt rider himself too. Did great in the big air event last night.
All right, so what does TJ Ellis bring to the party here now in round 3?
360 down, that's good to see. Front flip, didn't stick it.
Front flip, tail whip, and it looked like he maybe got a bit of a low landing coming off of the step down. Have to see that on the replay.
Seems like a lot of people are overshooting that on front flips.
Watch Relancer coming down the step down on the 360.
He got good speed, and maybe that's the reason why. Too much speed. Yeah, overshot a little bit, but foot came off either way.
Well, you got to give the guy credit for rolling the dice on that one. Now, again, he's still got one more run to go when we get into round number 4. It is the best run that counts out here tonight. We are halfway through the run order here for round number 3. So we've got Kyle Baldock in the middle of round number 3, still your top guy with a 92 flat. Brandon Dosch sitting in 2nd, and Ryan Nyquist sitting in 3rd. As of right now, we've got the conclusion of round 3 and round 4 when we come back. We are in the middle of round 3 of 4 out here this evening. BMX Dirt final after a 7-year hiatus. BMX Dirt returns to the X Games, and this is Luke Parslow set to take his 3rd run.
He's currently in 8th, but Luke is very capable of bumping way up. Big flip whip, pull the front flip, X up through the shark fin, and a flip 360 getting it kicked out Superman style. That will improve upon the score, but again,
over-rotated that a little bit, but hangs on, rides out of it clean, and that is key.
He needs to jump at least 4 points to actually move up in the rankings, and it looks like he's got a bad limp there going on.
Maybe rolled an ankle out of that at the end of the run.
Big flip whip after pulling an X up, dropping down in. And again, the front flips, they're just, everyone's overshooting them just a hair, and that can affect how much speed you carry into the next set.
Yeah, you see that left foot there. It looked like he raked his ankle against the pedal on that one.
But perhaps he was already dealing with a situation, and that's why he's limping.
Well, an 83.66 was his best score thus far, which was round number 2. So he gets an 88.33. So that's only going to bump him up 1 spot, though. It's an improvement on the score, but it's only going to move him from 8th into 7th position.
Ben Wallace, now this is interesting. If Ben gets a score here that is better than 87.33, you're going to see him jump into at least the top 3.
Because he's got a tie with Ryan Nyquist for the best run score.
And the tiebreaker is the next best score. Neither of them has a really high next score.
And here comes Ben Wallace.
Huge triple whip. I hope that was a triple. Oppo, look back 3. And a double tail 3 comes out a little sketchy, but this is certainly going to be a high enough score, I think, to best the 87.33. And you're going to see Ben Wallace move into the bronze position.
Well, if he doesn't get higher than that 90.66, like you said, he just needs higher than an 87.33 to get that tiebreaker and take over Ryan Nyquist as we look at the replays.
Exactly. It creates a really interesting dynamic. He makes the triple whip just come around so fast that you're like, 2, 3, what?
I mean, these guys are firing them off so smoothly, it's hard to tell at real-time speed.
When quintuples become the norm, that's when we just shut it down.
And right here at the end of the run, 360 double tail whip.
Yeah, and again, this creates an interesting dynamic because it's, you know, we'll see what his score is here.
Say, what he dabbed the right foot.
88.33. So, okay, we've
88.33. So that's not going to.
Yeah, perhaps the tiebreaker on this has to do with another judge's score, or perhaps we're waiting to see Nyquist's next run to see. Yeah, it's second best run scores.
It's they average the basically they drop the high, drop the low. We'll get into that here in a second, but this is Kyle Baldock. We'll explain that tiebreaker process.
Big flip whip. Oh, wow, 360 flip on a set you should not be doing it, 360 flip on. And a bar spin 360 flip, did I see that? Some people call it a cork 7. Just to explain here, a lot about spins has to do with what plane you do it in. A 720, if you do it flat, is a 720. A 360 flip's done in 2 different planes. Something in between is called a cork 720. That's called a big flip whip, followed by a cork 7 or a 360 flip, call it which you will, and throwing the bars.
I can't believe he throws the bars in the middle of that.
Yeah, and I'm leaning toward a bar 7 on that, but it's so corked out that it's practically a 3 flip. At some point, it doesn't matter. It's just rad.
Catches the bars, brings it around, puts it down clean.
Kyle's making a big statement here. I mean, he didn't have to make a statement. He already has in the past. You're looking at an example of a guy who got his start coming through an open qualifier, then winning a prelim, then winning a final. And without events like an open qualifier to get in, Kyle probably would not be on the scene at the level he is today.
So that's not going to best his second run score. He's still in the top spot, but he's going to stick with that second run score of 92 as we bring in Ryan Nyquist.
Ryan Nyquist, we know what this guy's capable of. Unfortunately, one of the things he pulls very consistently, surprisingly, is that a double bar spin backflip. You don't see him do it a lot, but when he tries it, I see him pull it. And if you're looking at a guy that's the most dominant dirt rider ever, that's him, Ryan Nyquist. For the Vans Triple Crown Series, it ran for 4 years, a dozen events. He won the first 11.
Those bars look like it went around 2.5 times. Going back to that tiebreaker thing, basically there's 5 judges out here. They drop the high and the low scores and average your 3 remaining scores together. So the first tiebreaker is they bring back in the high and the low scores, average all 5. Then the second tiebreaker goes to the second best run scorer. So that's why Ryan is still sitting in that 3rd place position. We are through 3 of 4 rounds. We've got 1 more round to go. Will Kyle Baldock take 2 gold medals, or will we crown another champion out here? We'll find out when we come back.
Like I said, anybody could win this. I mean, people have stuff that are their dream tricks that you throw down under certain circumstances, and if you hit your dream run here, you could go all the way from the bottom all the way to the top.
It is the best run that counts, so we can see the standings shake up here in this last round. Last chance for these guys to put it all on the line, and 1 more go for Mike Clark.
And he starts with a 3 down, landed it good.
Nose dive, 360, 1-footer.
Yeah, kicking his leg way back. And a cliffhanger backflip. Unfortunately for him, he didn't pull that off.
Hey, you know what? He's having a good time. Look at the smile on his face. His first ever X Games appearance.
We saw Chad Kagi take that trick to a silver medal in Big Air. He had to do a big trick. And there's the bar ride I was talking about. Obviously, Chad had to do a trick on the quarter pipe as well, but.
Look how he nose dips that 360 right there as he kicks the foot off.
Yeah, very over-rotated.
He couldn't get the feedback to the pedals. Look, the handlebars look like it wanted to turn on him a little bit. He couldn't get the feedback to the pedals. And then trying to do a bar ride in the dirt.
Yeah, a bar ride in the dirt, and it's bumpy dirt, it looks like. So good luck with that one. But, hey, it's Hucker. He'll go for it anyway.
Hey, he's got a smile on his face, putting on a show for the fans here in Foz de Iguaçu.
He's riding the X Games Dirt, doing bar rides on the side, and he can hang 5 down sets of stairs. It's a unique individual.
So that's going to leave him in 6th place on the evening for now. That'll bring in one more timer out, Chris Doyle.
3 whip. Stretching a no-foot can-can. And getting a downside whip through that shark fin, but not getting his foot on and then doing a, I don't know what we call that last one. It wasn't a dead sailor because he was intentionally goofing off. For those out there that don't understand, a dead sailor is when you go through the air without doing a trick and it's stiff and you regret doing it. And a Viking is a dead sailor that's been dead for over 1,000 years.
No foot of can there, and he just, well, they didn't see the hit before that. He ends up bumping the back tire, which threw off the flow of the run there. And just having some fun there over
Will
that.
Improve his score, and Doyle's going to have to settle for 8th here, but he did come in as the alternate, so he leaves a spot higher than that at least.
There is Brandon Dosch. He is currently sitting in second place right now. He's looking at a silver medal. You see him pointing to that sticker on the crossbar. His handlebars there. From Mad Dog Brett Benasewicz, who was injured last year. Brandon working out that 720.
To a double whip, landed it clean.
It was what? 360 triple whip
I believe
attempt?
so. Attempt, the key word here, didn't pull it off, but man, you're sitting in a silver position. There's guys that could bump you out of that, obviously, but he's having a good time. He's putting on a show.
Well, he was the 2010 Dew Tour Dirt overall champion. Last year, went down with an injury, so we're glad to see him back and glad to have him out here for the return of BMX Dirt to the X Games.
This was really clean early on. 720 to a double whip.
That was darn close. That right foot just came off the pedal. Maybe a little bit over rotation.
And a 360.
The right foot never made it to the pedal from that vantage point, but close.
And he seems to be unscathed. He actually got an extra 360 as he was falling, too.
Well, again, he's looking at a silver medal as of right now. 3 riders down, 5 left to go here. TJ Ellis currently sitting in the 5th place position. Will he throw the front flip tail whip attempt again?
360 in, kind of a little bit of a turn down on his front flip. Exit 360.
Coming into that last set.
It's not going to work out for well, I say it's not going to work out. He's sitting in 5th place. If he stays there, that's something to be proud of. I'm sure he was shooting for more with that run.
And, you know, again, for him, his first ever X Games appearance as well, as we take a look at some replays.
And he's representing dirt well. That's important. Just getting a little sideways.
That left foot never makes it back on the pedal. It just rolls out. So his best scores of the night were his first 2 runs of 90.33. So that's going to leave him in 5th place.
Just like that in a hurry, we've got 4 riders who cannot improve their position. So suddenly this is coming down to a few guys here that have the potential of taking gold.
Well, of the final 4 riders here, 2 of them are on the outside looking in right now. Luke Parslow, who's due up next, he's sitting down in 7th place. Then we've got Ben Wallace, who is in 4th. And then it comes down to our final 2. But in the meantime, this is Luke Parslow.
Big 3 flip. Single whip. Getting an X up. And that's what we call an invert front flip. And notice there, he did the front flip on the last set. That's smart strategy if you figure that in so many previous runs, people and himself were overshooting on their front flips and just killing the flow of their run. Do it on the last set, it's irrelevant.
Take a look at some replays here. X up down the start ramp.
Gigantic 360 flip. And you see, we call that an invert. He kind of pushes it over to the side. Table invert. It's an invert when you get past the table. And here we have a look at Kyle Baldock, currently sitting in the lead, currently sitting there with a gold medal from today. It's kind of weird. You wake up in the morning, you go to eat breakfast at the buffet, you don't really know how the day's going to turn out, and you might end the day with 2 gold medals.
Luke Parslow with an 89 flat. Just leave him down at 7. So Kyle Baldock still sitting on top of things with 3 riders left to go. There's Ben Wallace. He is on the outside looking in. He is in that 4th place position right now. The best run score, he's tied with Ryan Nyquist with a 90.66, but by virtue of the tiebreaker, first tiebreaker, I should say, they bring in the high and low scores and average all 5 together. So that's why Ryan gets the tiebreaker. Let's see what Ben can do in this last go around.
And the best way to break a tie is just to beat the score. So we'll see what Ben's capable of. Throwing in a turn down there off the shark fin. To me, that's key, getting a little extra, but he had something else planned there. He's either going to throw a late bar or he's going to kick it back the other way. It's not exactly the run that Ben had planned, but an impressive run nonetheless.
Triple.
And he
started off.
Does it so casually.
Look how easily he just throws that bike around.
Looks like he was attempting to kick it back the other way. Could have been trying to position his feet and then throw the bars late.
So 87.66, so that is not going to do it. So Ryan Nyquist is going to definitely walk out of here with a medal. The question is, will he be able to overtake Kyle Baldock? There is Kyle. He's due up next. He is your current leader right now with a second run score, I should say, of 92 flat. He's already earned himself a gold medal earlier today in the park final. Is he going to be able to walk out of here with a second one? It all comes down to these last 2 runs.
He can top his score and then really put the pressure on Ryan. Double tailwhip flip, huge too. I can't emphasize that enough with him. Barspin to tuck no-hander, X up, gigantic no-handed front flip. He had so much time on that. It made me want to throw in something else there at the end, but either way, that run was incredible. I knew coming in he would be one of the favorites in this. A lot of people don't view him as a dirt rider. It's not that important when you have 5 sets and you know how to jump, you can get it done.
Barspin to tuck no-hander there, and coming into that last set.
I was just, you know, Kyle just goes so high. It looked like he had time for something else, but it was just a picture-perfect no-handed front flip. Just. There you go with
clean
a double
landing.
tailwhip. Double tailwhip on the backflip, pulling it through. And, you know, even doing the X down.
I was just going to ask if you thought it was better than that second run score. It's just as good. It's a 92 flat, so he gets the same score in round 2 and in round 4. So not going to move him up away from Ryan. So it all comes down to this last run right here.
And he has 292, so which one of those is the higher one when you throw in the other judges' scores to average it? Who knows? If Ryan ends up with a 92, he's going up against 2 of Kyle Baldock's 92.
This is it.
This is the guy who's capable.
It comes down to this last run right here.
Double barspin backflip, trick you only see Ryan doing. Double truck driver. And a it's not gonna happen. Barspin 720, he seemed to lose his line a little bit. And Ryan's such a good rider and such a competitor that you saw him like almost scream a little bit in disappointment there, but he's still going away with a bronze medal.
So it'll be Kyle Baldock, Brandon Dosch, and Ryan Nyquist, your top 3 here. In the return of BMX Dirt to the X Games after a 7-year hiatus. And by the way, haven't had double BMX golds at the X Games since 2006. It was Kevin Robinson who did that back in 2006. He got one in Vert Best Trick that year, as well as BMX Big Air.
Yeah, that's quite a feat. Double golds. Kyle is so casual about it.
I was to say, you think you'd be a little more excited about getting 2 gold medals in one day. Let's send it down to Jordan Whitley for an interview with our winner.
All right, Kyle, well, you're literally winning the day, 2 gold medals, but in this event, what was the key for you to pull it off?
Just try and stay like rubber side down, really, and just riding against these guys, it's one of those adrenaline rushes where you just got to contain it and just try and do your best.
Now, we talk about the 2 gold medals. Did you ever imagine that it would go this way for you here in Foz?
Oh, no way. It just came over here. It was a long flight as well, and just riding with these guys has been like just having fun for me, and to pull off both of them, yeah, it's one of those things.
And you told me earlier that this is the birthplace of this sport right here in Dirt. What kind of case did you guys make to keep this around?
Oh, well, all the boys love this. This is like where everyone, like the BMX came from, so we need this back, and it's good that X Games made that choice, and hopefully they do it at all the stops, but yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I've never seen anyone have more fun and laugh more than this group of guys here in Dirt. Guys, we'll send things back to you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So there you go. Congratulations to Kyle Baldock. Well-deserved, walking away with his second piece of X Games hardware out here this afternoon. When it's all said and done here at the return of BMX Dirt, Ryan Nyquist taking home the bronze. Brandon Dosch walks out of here with a silver medal, and Kyle Baldock from Australia takes home his second gold medal of the day.